It sounds to me like what I've read about you and what you've said is your father was instrumental in where you sit today. Is that true?
100%.
I mean,
100%.
he didn't even know how to play soccer, did he?
No, that's the crazy part is, he's from Mexico, obviously.
Where in Mexico?
So he was born in Veracruz.
Okay.
But he was raised in Reynosa, right at the border, like by McAllen. He came over, he was 18 or 19 years old, the first one from his family.
Did he come to Tyler specifically?
Came to Tyler, Texas.
I thought, if my memory serves, I had Gus Ramirez from the Ramirez family on the show recently, and Gilbert, his father, I want to say came from Reynosa.
My family and their family, we've known each other obviously since they got here. So,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So people talking like, hey, come to Tyler, it's a good spot, whatever. Your dad heard that maybe.
And obviously word gets around, I know somebody in Tyler.
Right.
You go there and you find a job or whatever and just try to create a better life for yourself.
Welcome to another episode of East Texas Unfiltered. I'm your host, J. Chad Parker. Today's guest is Daniel Hernandez, a professional soccer player, and as well as a life insurance agent, a businessman, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and we're lucky to talk to him. Thank you for being here, Daniel.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
I think this is the second professional athlete we've had. We had Pat Mahomes Sr. once.
Okay.
And now we've got Daniel Hernandez, which played the real football. Is that right?
That's right. Football. That's right.
It's funny how everybody in Europe and Mexico, Central and Latin America, they call soccer football, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. And it's funny. I've seen a couple of commercials debating, is it soccer? Is it football?
Yeah.
So, we think around East Texas, we still call it soccer.
For years, they kept saying that soccer was eventually going to catch on, and it has caught on. But American football, it seems to be a juggernaut, right? I mean, the NFL and college football are still hard to beat.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I've seen some things recently, where they see soccer moving into the number 3 sport in the country behind basketball and football. So it's getting there.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And part of that, I think, maybe cultural, right? I mean, because like I mentioned, Mexico, Central, South America, I mean, that's soccer country, right?
That's right.
And, and the changing demographics in America over the last 30 years, has brought with it, I'm sure, a lot more soccer fans.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, and you see it. I mean, even here in Tyler in East Texas, we see all the different cultures and ethnicities, and they all go back to the love of soccer, and now you see that in our sport in the whole United States. Look at our national team now.
Yeah.
I mean, look how diverse our national team is going to the World Cup, which is coming up in a couple of days.
Yeah, this episode is kind of opportune, or it's timed well that we're here to talk about the World Cup, because it seems like there may be more excitement this World Cup in the United States than I can remember in the past. Does it feel that way to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. It's most people have one opportunity to see a World Cup in their home country. This is going to be our second World Cup in the U.S. And right now, as much as the sport has grown, man, I'm so excited. I'm excited, optimistic that our U.S. national team is going to do well and be successful. And then you see all the hype around World Cup all over the place.
Yeah, because it's all over the country, right? They play in different places. Dallas has been fortunate enough to get how many games?
They have 9, including a semifinal game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's gonna bring a lot of people to Dallas and a lot of excitement. I mean, our team, I'm not really, I'm not knowledgeable about soccer and the players out there, but you probably know the makeup of our national team.
Yeah.
And I mean, what do you think our chances are, and who are the ones that to beat, or who are the best teams you think around the world that'll be in this?
Yeah, so I think the whole debate on U.S. soccer is, are they good enough to do well in this World Cup? I'm optimistic. Talent-wise, I think we have the most talented group of players on the U.S. national team in any World Cup that we've ever had. Now, we've had some successful World Cup teams participate and do well in the World Cups. This team here, almost every single player plays for a major team, whether it's here in MLS or in Europe.
So you're saying we have depth?
We have depth, absolutely. The key is, can we put it together as a team?
Yeah, I mean, people don't probably understand it like you do, but I'm sure there's a lot of strategy and there's a lot of chemistry amongst the players.
100%.
That you see, maybe played out in basketball, where a guy knows where a guy's going, right?
Yep.
Pass here, that type of thing. And how long does our World Cup team practice together when they come off their other teams and join each other to get ready for the World Cup?
Yeah, so that's a great question because a lot of people don't understand how the U.S. national team works. So all those players all have their own club teams, professional teams that they play for and get paid by. The U.S. national team, if they have a game, for instance, the World Cup, which starts on Thursday, they all came in about 2 weeks ago.
Is this a season that is the World Cup within their soccer season?
No. So all the seasons, all the leagues around the world, they normally take a break summertime.
Okay.
Except Major League Soccer. Major League Soccer is about to go to a summer break schedule moving forward, which before Major League Soccer was February to December. And then you break in December, January. All around the world, you break for a couple weeks in December, and then you have a big break in the summer, a month break in the summer. So that's right now, all the leagues around the world are on their normal break, and that's when World Cup time is.
All right, so it fits in well in the soccer industry, right? Because
absolutely.
And the guys are arguably already in good shape.
Yep.
And hopefully not hurt.
That's right.
And then they come together, and they probably generally know the players that have all been accumulated on the same World Cup team.
That's correct. And they get a little more time to train with each other before the World Cup because obviously it's a World Cup. Normally, if they come in for games like friendly games, they're here maybe a couple days to train with their team, maybe a week at max. But normally they come in for a couple days, train with all these players from around the world, play a game, and then they go back to their respective teams.
Do most guys that, first of all, maybe you can provide us some insight. How many guys are on the World Cup team and how are they selected?
So selection is all by the coach. So this is a 4-year process, essentially. So every 4 years is a World Cup. So after the World Cup finished 4 years ago, they hired this new coach to come in, Argentinian coach. And now he basically has been working for a couple of years now, trying to put his top roster together. So every time they have games throughout the year, he brings in different players. And he can choose whoever he wants as long as they're American citizens. He can call them in, watch them train, watch them play in the games, kind of almost like a tryout for him.
He's just testing
all these new players.
Over the years, kind of looking and see, well, this guy plays well with this guy, or this guy doesn't have a good attitude. This guy's not that fast. All of those things,
it's a long process. Yep.
How is an Argentinian the coach? I mean, is that, you said...
It's kind of normal.
You said, hey, you got to be a U.S. citizen to be on the team, but you don't have to be you can be an Argentinian to be the coach?
Yeah, there's not many countries around the world, though, that hire their own
because they don't have the talent
as coaches, right? Now, all of our previous coaches have all been American coaches, always.
Okay,
except for Jurgen Klinsmann, the German guy. And so this coach, I mean, he's coached some of the top teams in the world.
I'm sure he's a good coach.
He's a great coach. So I think, specifically because the World Cup was coming to the U.S., I think the U.S. Soccer Federation knew, like, this is a crucial time for us. We have to do well. We have to be successful. Let's bring in the best coach we can hire. And that's who they saw fit.
That sounds good for us, is that, hey, I'm glad we went and got the best coach, because we don't want to be embarrassed. Right. I mean, and I don't mean that if the guys lost that we'd be embarrassed, about them, but I know they want to do well, as you say, to be playing in the United States, 9 games and the semifinals. I'm sure they're hoping to be in it if they could.
For sure. This is an important time for U.S. soccer. If everyone remembers 94, we had the World Cup. Well, we didn't have a professional league in the U.S.
So it was just guys coming from wherever?
College, playing abroad in other countries. And after the 94 World Cup, major leagues soccer started in 1996. And so that was a huge, huge boost for U.S. soccer. And now it's the same exact thing. Soccer in the U.S. has climbed so much, like being one of the powerhouses around the world now. And it's important for U.S. soccer to be successful in this World Cup.
Yeah, because, I mean, we've made a lot of strides in soccer in the United States, and that's 30 years, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, now, for people like me that don't understand, the whole hierarchy of soccer, right? I mean, for people watching this and they're trying to understand, and you've explained it pretty well, how the World Cup team comes together. They come from the Major League soccer teams, right? You can think NFL, right?
Yep.
Almost like a Pro Bowl.
Exactly.
But then you look over there and you see these guys in Liverpool and Manchester United, and you're going, who is this and what are they doing?
Yep.
What is that?
So great question. So those guys, because at the end of the day, the English Premier League is still one of the top leagues in the world. The Italian league is one of the top leagues in the world. Spain, Germany. So we have our top players play AC Milan in Italy, Juventus, Italy, Crystal Palace, England. So all these guys are playing abroad at other countries. Why? Because those are the top leagues in the world. Probably bigger contracts.
Yeah, the money seems
the money
humongous.
Absolutely.
Compared to if you looked at a Major League Soccer salary and you weren't David Beckham, right?
That's correct.
I mean, they're relatively small in professional sports terms. No,
yes,
have
correct,
been.
Correct. Now, when I played, I retired in 2012. The salaries are not even close to what these guys are getting paid now here in Major League Soccer. So Major League Soccer has stepped up their game. They're paying big contracts now.
Well, that's good because, I mean, I look back at yours and yours was just above 100,000 or something in the last year.
So my last year as a captain and veteran of my team, I was at 200,000 my last year. And I know why you read 100,000 because my last year I was hired as a player coach. And so half of my salary was as a player, the other half was as a coach.
That's right. I saw that story and I sympathized with you because I saw the reason that you were fired. And it seemed awful slim in my mind on the whole Nike versus Adidas versus, soccer kids camps versus not in the facility versus, right? I mean, whatever the case, it allowed them to eliminate your salary.
Yeah. So without speaking on the topic too
much.
I
don't know, and I'm not trying to bring you into something that you've got a non-disclosure agreement on or anything else. I'm just saying I've read what's in the public sphere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it is, I'm not supposed to speak on it, but the one thing I can say is, so I did have a couple more years to play. I mean, I retired at 36. I had a long, successful career. I was blessed to play 15 years.
Right. You played 15 years.
15 years.
And soccer is not, and I'm not down in the golfers, but I mean, they're walking, you're running.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask my knees.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're running, people are hitting you, you're making hard cuts.
Yeah.
You were a midfielder, which what'd they call that in the old days? Did they always call it a midfielder?
I think so.
Or was it because you had fullback, and then when I was a kid, somebody called it halfback and forward?
Yeah, halfback or midfield and forward. Yep, that's right.
Just since we're on the topic, I've always known the forwards to be the guys that were the scorers. Mm-hmm. Probably had the better speed or faster.
Not necessarily. I mean, maybe some of the top ones are the faster guys, but not specifically looking for that attribute. That they're fast.
Stronger leg, more accurate kicker. I mean,
well, to be fair, a forward is crazy because you see some players that you never would ever think that they're a great player, but you know what they do?
Move the ball around.
They find the net. They figure out they have a sense
of how to score. Yeah.
And maybe they don't touch the ball the whole game, but at the end of the day, they figure out how to get a toe on the ball, get a head on the ball, and they score. Scoring goals is their job, and that's really their only job.
Like some people, I would suspect when you say get ahead on the ball, you see so many corner kicks, right? The ball goes out and then corner kick, and everybody's kind of in a rugby scrum, and somebody jumps up there and tries to get their head on it.
Yeah.
And you're saying a forward could have that attribute and be up there solely for that reason?
100%. And even myself, I've judged players, to play on top teams in the world. And I'm like, man, that guy sucks.
Yeah, he should not be a forward.
But he scores. And he's playing on this top team for a reason, because he scores goals. And their number one job is scoring goals. That's it.
Yeah, okay. And so the position that you played, did you play this most of your career? Were you a midfielder, most of your career since you left John Tyler High School?
No, so I was always an attacking midfielder, like the number 10, the creator in the midfield.
Are you picking up the trash like in basketball, where they're streaking down the field and you're looking for something to come back?
Exactly. When I turned as a professional player, they moved me back a spot to defensive midfielder. My job was to just stop anything coming my way, kind of being a disruptor in the game.
Right. Even the guy breaking to get an open pass to kind of get in his way physically.
I was the bulldog out there.
Yeah.
I was the bulldog out there and just trying to clean up any other mistakes that, anyone on our team made in front of me. I had to clean all that up.
All right, you're trying to keep them out of the goal, essentially.
Correct.
But there are some people behind you.
Yeah, all the fullbacks and defenses behind me. And I'm basically the player plays right in front of the defense and in between our attacking midfielders.
I mean, sometimes when I watch the soccer, it is exciting. It seems, exhausting, the back and the forth. And you always wish there was like a little bit more offense, because it really ggets exciting, when somebody scores.
Absolutely.
The crowd goes crazy.
They go crazy. It's always exciting to see goals. But I've also seen games that are 1-0 or 0-0 that were just back and forth, and they just didn't put the ball in the net, but were great games, some of the best games that I've seen. And it's just really more about understanding, what they're doing out there. That's really all it is.
You watch hockey and they say icing, and I'm totally confused about the rules, right? I mean, I guess, the offsides is kind of the icing of hockey, right? Where you kick the ball and it looks like the guy, has got a lead and is going to get, and then they, raise a flag and say, hey, offsides. And I guess define that for us. What's technically offsides and not offsides when somebody makes a pass from, down the field?
Yeah. So the easiest way to explain it, the last line of defense, whoever is the last player on the defensive side and the goalie. If there's an offensive player between the goalie and the last player on defense.
When somebody touches the ball?
When they pass the ball to them. As soon as they pass the ball off their foot and they're in that position between the goalie and the last defender, they're offsides.
All right.
Now, I will say this.
That's a judgment call sometimes, right? I mean,
yeah, well, now they have the video assistant review, so now they can review everything, and now they literally have technology that shows even if they're one step, 1 foot, a toe ahead, and they could call them offside.
The technology's obvious that it's been developed and everything in the world is more technologically getting advanced. I wonder if they implemented that, one, because there were questions about referees, or two, the fans would be so unruly if the calls were bad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could have near rights and, like in Scotland or some of these wild teams in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. and I've seen it.
I mean, right? Like people, one bad call and the whole place is, is going crazy.
And that's the thing that I hope people see, those cultures and the livelihood of the support for their sport of soccer. And that's what happens in these other countries. I mean, that's their livelihood.
That's their, that makes a 6-day working week tolerable. That there's a game to go to or watch is what you're saying.
Yeah,
in many countries.
Absolutely. You see the passion. I mean, they're crying. They win, they lose, they're crying.
In America, we win and the winners, turn over cars and get things on fire. It's like, what in the world, right? Yeah. I mean, the other thing about soccer that I never can get is the clock. It's like, wait, how much time is left? They put more time on the clock. No, I mean,
It's getting ridiculous.
I mean, what in the world? How much time is a half of soccer?
45 minutes. That's what it's supposed to be.
Okay. Does it ever change and become more in a half, especially the last half?
Yes.
Both
halves.
What
so
changes?
They call it injury time. That's what they call it, injury time. And all that is they never stop the clock, right? So the 45 minutes, it never stops. But if there's substitute, so if a guy comes on, so then that's 30 seconds, there's a sub. There's a goal, maybe that's a minute because of the celebrations and all that sort of thing. So what they're trying to do is, or if there's a delay, an injury, that they're out there for 2 minutes. All they do is they add up all that time and they add it to the 45 minutes of each half.
All right.
And so sometimes you'll get 1 minute if there wasn't really anything going on. I've seen 12 minutes.
How do you know, like if you're a team and you're trying to protect a lead, or how do you know how much time is left? Because there's not a clock in the stadium.
Well, unfortunately, they do show how much time they're going to play extra, but they don't show it until minute 44 or at minute 45, they'll pop up the sign says 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever that might be. So the player doesn't know how much extra time. So normally if you watch especially a European game, at that 45-minute mark and you see the referee on the sideline lift up that number and whoever is winning, they'll see 10 minutes and then the whole stadium's going crazy because they're like, why in the world are we playing 10 minutes extra? We want to get this game done and over with because we're in the lead.
Yeah. Now, did you ever have, aspirations to play in that European league? Is that a thing for, American kids that play soccer? Do they want to play in the Mexican league? Do they want to play in the United States league? Do they want to make it to that European league?
So for me growing up, the only thing I knew was Mexican league, right? Because of my family, that's what they followed. We had a particular team in Mexico, Club America, that was it's like the Dallas Cowboys of Mexico, right?
In soccer.
Yeah, in soccer. And so that's all I knew since I was a little kid. I didn't watch European soccer. We didn't have a professional league here in the States. The only thing we had here was indoor soccer,
right?
Dallas Sidekicks.
And I don't even know if they televised those European leagues back then in the late 80s.
I don't remember watching it.
I don't either.
And so all I knew was Mexican soccer. So that was always my dream, is to play in Mexico. Now, as you get older and you hear about the European leagues and know those are the big dogs,
right?
Then you have aspirations of going there, but it's tough.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Right.
Playing against players
people
like
me know those guys' names, and don't really know soccer, right?
Yeah.
Because they're Michael Jordans kind of that sport.
For sure. David Beckham, obviously probably one of the biggest ones with Ronaldo and Messi.
Yeah. Messi, man. Talk about I've been in Mexico a couple of times when FIFA was playing, and people were, they love at Messi.
Oh, he's like Michael Jackson. Like everywhere he goes, he just gets bombarded by fans. I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah, I saw that even the team in the United States hired him.
Miami.
Right.
Which is David Beckham's team.
Just to, I guess, try to give the American League, a boost, right? A way. Certainly ticket sales would probably go up if Messi
they do.
Was on the team.
So this is almost identical blueprint to what LA Galaxy did with David Beckham.
Right.
They brought him in, paid him all this money, but everywhere he went to play, it was full stadium. They raised ticket prices, and now the same exact thing that David Beckham is doing with Messi. They're playing in football stadiums now, NFL stadiums, because they're filling them up because of Messi being there.
Yeah, that's a good thing about a superstar on a team in a league. The away games take that superstar to all the cities across the country.
Absolutely.
And kind of promote the game, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of promoting the game, it sounds to me like what I've read about you and what you've said is your father was instrumental in where you sit today. Is that true?
100%. 100%.
He didn't even know how to play soccer, did he?
No, that's the crazy part is, he's from Mexico, obviously.
Where in Mexico?
So he was born in Veracruz.
Okay.
But he was raised in Reynosa, right at the border, like by McAllen. on the Mexico side, Reynosa. And so that's where he was born and raised. He came over, he was 18 or 19 years old, the first one from his family.
Did he come to Tyler specifically?
Came to Tyler, Texas.
You know, I thought, if my memory serves, I had Gus Ramirez from the Ramirez family on the show recently, and Gilbert, his father, I want to say came from Reynosa. And so I wondered,
my family and their family, we've known each other obviously since they got here. So,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm onto something.
Yes, sir.
I mean, so people talking like, hey, come to Tyler, you know, it's a good spot, whatever. Your dad heard that maybe. And
yeah. And obviously word gets around, I know somebody in Tyler.
Right.
You know, you go there and you find a job or whatever and just try to create a better life for yourself. And he ended up here in Tyler, Texas.
Well, I mean, that's always been the immigrant story in the U.S., where people from Europe came over to New York because they could stay with a family or a friend or a cousin that they knew, kind of get their bearings, get a job, and then start to build some kind of life. And it sounds like that's what your dad did.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, you know, when you think back, it's crazy how it all started. It was him showing up here. And over the years, he brought all of his siblings over.
His brothers and sisters.
His brothers and sisters, his parents, my grandparents. Most of them lived in my neighborhood. So I grew up, my mom is American. She was a white lady, unfortunately, rest in peace. She passed away in October last year. But I grew up in the Mexican culture.
Right. It just moved over here and it was in your neighborhood.
In my neighborhood. And we talk about soccer, you know, all my uncles played soccer. They all played in the Mexican League in Tyler, down in downtown Tyler, at Caldwell Park. And that's where I spent every one of my Saturday nights and all day Saturday. That's where we spent our time kicking the soccer ball.
So you pretty much probably played soccer, you know, since you were a little kid all the way to your high school career start.
I don't remember a day I didn't kick a soccer ball.
When your dad came to Tyler, you know, do you know what year that was generally?
I believe it was 69.
All right.
Yep.
And do you know, did he come here with a skill or did he just have to find his way into the economy somewhere?
No, so he just found his way. And that's the way my dad was his whole life. He just was a hard worker. He showed up, worked in the factory, ended up finding his way into the oil field.
Which is a good job,
which was a great job at that time. And he was the crew leader. And who was all his crew? All his brothers and cousins.
Yeah.
And he hired all of them. And they all went through the oil field until the oil field kind of went out of business.
Yeah.
And he had been coaching me since I was 5 years old. So quick, funny story to go back. My dad he played baseball in Mexico. All my uncles played soccer. So my dad didn't even play soccer. But again, the hard worker he was, the way he just figured things out, he learned the game of soccer, and he started coaching me since I was 5, my whole life. He ended up being the John Tyler High School coach after the oil field went out of business. And me and my brother both played for him at high school at John Tyler. My dad went on to coach college soccer at Texas College, Wiley College, Jarvis. He started all the soccer programs at all 3 of those colleges.
I mean, I'd heard that he started the women's soccer at John Tyler.
Yes, he did.
Right.
Started the women's program. I remember when my dad got there, we were in middle school at the time. There were 13 boys in the soccer program.
That's it.
13. And I think by the time he was finishing up, he had women's program. I think he had a total of maybe like 170 kids in the soccer program, boys and women.
I'm assuming that this was a passion of your dad's and that he loved soccer, or otherwise he wouldn't have put all this energy into it.
For sure, yeah. And it wasn't like he didn't know the sport. He just didn't really play it. I remember he was just so passionate about helping kids also. I remember after school or after school practice or after a game, he would have 8 kids in his van, taking them home, or picking them up. And he was just that type of guy that on the weekends, he was a referee of the Mexican League. Him and my uncles.
I bet that was a tough job.
Oh, yeah. We saw a couple of fights. Yeah, not a couple. We saw a lot of fights.
I mean,
there's referees getting beat up.
There's fans. There's probably alcohol.
Oh, man. It's
right.
It's definitely an environment out there for sure. But that's what we grew up on.
Did you play in that league before you really went off to college and all that? Did you ever play on Irwin or Caldwell or North Loop?
Yeah, we used to play at Caldwell, Golden Road, Lindsay Park. So Irwin wasn't there. They built that field when I was in college. That field is actually named after me.
Is it right now?
Right now. They had a big ceremony.
Hernandez Field.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Daniel Demetrio Hernandez Field.
Demetrio is what they called you in Mexico, right?
Yeah. And the reason they call me Demetrio is because, as probably most people know, in the Mexican culture, they go by their maiden and their last name and their mom's last name.
As a PI lawyer,
passport,
I see it on the driver's license. Yeah. I'm like, why is this guy
2 last names?
Yeah, why has he got 2 last names?
So for myself, a lot of people don't know this. When I played in Mexico, I played as a Mexican international. I didn't play as a U.S. player.
You were trying to fit in?
Well, it didn't help when I first got there. They still call me gringo.
They did?
They did. They still call me gringo, and just because I was from the U.S.,
right.
And they kind of frowned upon American players.
Taking a spot of what 100%. Could be a Mexican, right?
Yeah, so it took some time for me to kind of win them over, and but I played with a Mexican passport, and my name was Daniel Demetrio Hernandez. Well, of course, when the commentators are announcing games, they call my first 2 names. So they call me by my middle name, using it as my last name. So instead of calling me
Daniel
Hernandez,
Demetrio.
Yeah. So they would just say Demetrio. Instead of saying Hernandez, they would call Demetrio. And that's what a lot of commentators will call me over in Mexico because of that.
Well, okay, before I want to get to Mexico and the years you played there, but you're coming up, your dad's coaching, you go to John Tyler, you're obviously a good player for John Tyler, right?
Yep.
And we'll talk about your brother Nico, was thought to be, a great player, right? I mean,
he was probably thought to be better than me growing up.
Well, that's funny. My brother and I were 2 years apart, and we both played football. We both played quarterback at Robert E. Lee, and my brother, actually seemed to be better than I was. No, I didn't ever admit that back then.
I know the feeling.
But it just was true, right? I mean, it wasn't like I was not good or decent,
right.
but, but I've heard that about Nico. Like he had, what was it about him as a player, looking back that made people say he could be better?
Yeah, so we were just kind of 2 different players. We talked on that a little bit earlier about forwards score, right? And they get kind of all the notoriety. And I wasn't really that player. And he was like the dribbler, like kind of the fancy guy that he was short, right, but he was quick and he was always dribbling players, just more of an exciting player to watch. And so where we lived right at Vine, Glenwood, and Shaw Street,
yep,
there's a park there. So every Tuesday and Thursday, if you walk down to that park, there's one side of the park that's just an open field. And I guarantee you there were probably 40 Hispanic players down there playing every Tuesday and Thursday. And me and my brother would go down there since we were like 12 years old.
Kind of like a pickup game.
Pickup game. Just pick up every Tuesday and Thursday. And I remember, the reason I'm bringing it up, I remember guys would always like, I don't think they were trying to be mean. They were like, man, your brother's better than you.
Yeah.
They used to always say that. And it of course, it bothered me back then. But my brother he was damn good, man. My brother was good. Yeah.
Well, that's what's been said about him. So he's 2 years behind and he follows you to SMU, but how did you get graduate from high school John Tyler to SMU? Was there any stop in between or did you go straight there? What happened?
Yep. So the funny story is, and you asked about my soccer in high school. So I always played, probably since I was 15, I always made it up to like the U.S. national team. So 15, all the way through high school, I always U.S. national team, All-American in soccer. I got recruited by Creighton University my freshman year.
Doesn't sound like a soccer powerhouse.
No, it doesn't sound that way, but it was because they don't have football there. So in Omaha, Nebraska,
right,
big soccer school, and I had 3 other players, friends of mine that played on the U.S. national team with me at the time. And we all decided together, like, let's go to Creighton together. There's enough scholarships for all of us. Let's go there together. And I think we had 6 freshmen starting that year.
Because, I mean, for people thinking about a lineup, you've got a goalie, you've got what, 3 fullbacks?
3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how many guys are out there on the field with, the forwards and the halfbacks? And
so it's 11 total. And it's normally like 4 defense, 4 midfielder, and 2 forwards. And then, sometimes the formations change, but typically 4-4-2.
All right. So, yeah, you were going over there to Creighton and you were like, hey, we've got 3 out of 11 that are U.S.
national team players.
Now, for people who, hear talk about the World Cup, the national team, what is this team you're referencing?
So it's the USA team, except it's the amateurs. So like they have for U.S. soccer, they have U15, U16, U18, U20. Then you go to Olympic team, and then you go to the men's national team, which is playing World Cup.
Okay.
So it's just the different age groups.
Is this meant to be kind of like in baseball where you've got, a farm team? You're kind of preparing these guys, hopefully, to end up where you've got a lot of competition for eventually the men's national team.
100%. And there's World Cups for U18. There are under 17 World Cup. There's a U20 World Cup, then it's the Olympics, and now the men's World Cup. And so you go through all those different stages over the course of your life. And I basically was on all of those teams growing up with all of my friends that we ended up going to Creighton with.
You were well known amongst maybe soccer recruiters for schools?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I mean, it's when you get to that level, I guess it's kind of a small world.
Right.
All the guys know each other. I mean,
because you've seen each other at these
every year. You compete against those guys. And because it's kind of a process, it's the state team first, Texas state team. Now you're playing Florida, Georgia, New York, all these other states. You see them every year. So you always compete against those best players. And then you eventually end up being on the U.S. national team with guys from all over the country.
I mean, knowing how sports for kids, club teams, select teams, all these things have evolved and it's expensive. How was it for you? Your dad, I don't believe he was wealthy, back then. And so how did this happen for Daniel Hernandez to be able to be a part of all this?
Well, you asked me earlier, a lot of my success, I wouldn't have got to do what I love as a profession without my dad or my mom, my parents. They worked hard, man. So my dad, soccer coach, high school soccer coach. My mom, she cleaned houses during the day. They would wake up at 4:00 in the morning and they'd go clean doctors' offices
before they'd open
for their cleaning businesses. They'd do that. My dad would go coach soccer, and then my mom would go clean houses. Then what did they have to do after school? They had to drive me and my brother up to Dallas to practice twice a week. They had to take us for games on Saturdays. So those times that they were in Dallas 4 or 5 times a week, we wouldn't get back till midnight. Then they're up at 4 to go work. So it was a sacrifice, but it had to be done. A lot of people ask. So I will say I'm really good friends. One of my best friends in soccer is Clinton Dempsey.
Yep.
And I don't know
from Nacogdoches.
From Nacogdoches. And so he just came out with a documentary about his life. Growing up in East Texas, playing club soccer in Dallas, all the drives back and forth.
That's even further.
Very, very, yes. A very similar story. But, we had to do it back then. We had rec soccer and club soccer. Like, it was very simple. It's not all the crazy leagues and all this other stuff that's going on now. It was rec soccer and club soccer. Well, I had to go to Dallas to play club soccer. There was no club soccer in East Texas at all. So I had to travel to Dallas. I think I was driving, at age 15, because, I had 3 other siblings. And so by the time I was 15, I was driving to Dallas by myself.
I'm assuming you had a hardship license.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's so hard for parents who I coached my kids, nothing like that. But I mean, we, baseball, went to the Junior League World Series, and the time that took, I can't imagine year round, over and over and over. It just, it's how much your folks love you. Because that kind of sacrifice can't be attributed to anything else but love.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's the time, the financial part of it, and not just that, then you have 3 other kids that you also have to tend to and make sure that you're focusing time on them and what they're doing, what their passions are. And so, I didn't realize it then. Now you look back and, I have 3 daughters. So I'm just like, man, I don't know how they did it.
I don't
really
either. But you're so fortunate that they did, and I know you know that, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Golly, I mean,
absolutely.
When you were playing soccer, what were your dreams? I mean, did you just like playing, or were you, saying, I'm going to use this to get a scholarship and go to college and get educated, or were you saying, I'm going to play pro soccer? What were you thinking about?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think it's a different time now with all the pro sport leagues all around the world. Back then, I absolutely love soccer. Like, I wouldn't go a day without kicking a soccer ball. So I already had the passion for it no matter what. But my goal was I just want to go to college and get a scholarship. That was all, because we didn't have a league back then. So all my focus was I want to get a scholarship. And I was able to finally fulfill that dream of getting to college on a full soccer scholarship. It wasn't until probably that I bet it wasn't until I got to college that I finally figured out, I'm like, oh, I want to go pro. I'm doing well at this. And now there's pro leagues around, options. So this 100% is what I want to do next.
Now, Creighton, were you guys gathering up to go there because it was a good school education-wise, or it was just someplace that wanted to give all 3 of you a scholarship?
It was mainly because it gave all 3 of us. That was probably the only school in the country that had enough scholarships available to offer all of us scholarships together. Because with soccer, they only get 9.9 scholarships a year.
It's like baseball used to be. They didn't have enough for all the team. It was, you might get a quarter, you might get 50%.
For sure. And that's why most of the time it's, you have one school offering one guy a full scholarship, and so that was the only school we were like, we're going there. And we killed it. Like we made it to, I think it was the game before the Final Four, lost to Indiana, which was the number 1 team, lost 1-0 at Indiana. Unfortunately for me, that summer, I decided to move to SMU. I say unfortunately for Creighton. Fortunately for me, I was able to move to SMU. SMU was always the school that I wanted to go to since I was a little kid. Don't ask me why.
Did you get recruited out of John Tyler to go to SMU?
Not hard.
Okay.
Not hard. But their coach, I used to play against his club team growing up all the time. So I knew him well. And so when I decided to go there.
How did you get an opportunity? Did you call the coach? Did you initiate, go, hey, man, I'm looking to move. I'd like to get closer to home. I love SMU.
Yep. I was always a homebody. Like I'm East Texas guy. I wanted to be around my family. My parents didn't get to go to many games in Omaha, Nebraska.
Right. I mean,
so it's exactly what I did. I reached out to the coach at SMU. Unfortunately, it was last minute. It was in the summer. And he said, man, I'd love to have you. He said, unfortunately, my scholarships are all taken up. So he said, so I asked,
can you kick a football?
Can you kick a football?
Because I saw you could.
Yeah. So I kicked my last 2 years in high school at John Tyler. And so I said, you know what? Maybe I'll be interested in going out for the football team. Walked down the hall, introduces me to Tom Rossley, head coach of SMU football. He says, come out to tryouts, to 2-a-days. He said, we start in a couple of days. It literally was that close to school. We'll start in a couple of days, show up. 2 days later, he calls me in the office, Tom Rossley. He says, I'm giving you a full scholarship for football.
Do you think there was any coordination with the soccer coach, or this was solely a football decision?
I'm sure the soccer coach was like, man, please help this guy out. Yeah. And so I'll be honest, my parents couldn't afford SMU.
No way. I mean, most people's couldn't.
And it's crazy because my parents said, we have no idea. Let's just get you registered and apply and get you in school. We'll figure something out. Like, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll figure something out. So that's what we did just by faith. I mean, just straight up faith. We were like, everything will work out. 2 days into 2-a-days, coach calls me in. You can kick that ball. He's like, full scholarship.
I mean, you had to be excited, man.
Oh my God, I almost cried in there. And I think the first thing I did was call my parents. I man, I gave that coach a big hug, man. I was just like, man, you have no idea what this means.
Because, I mean, he really, there are pivot points and crossroads in people's lives where something happens that really changes the directory for good or for bad, right? That really feels
100%.
like one
Yeah.
that sent Daniel Hernandez to where he is today.
Yeah. 100%. And it's, it's just about keeping your faith and understanding that things are going to work out. It's always in God's control. And, I did put my faith in him, and, it was just crazy the way things work out sometimes, sometimes for the best,
Were you ever actually the kicker for SMU?
Yeah. So
like in the games?
So the first year, so they had a senior kicker, and the very first year that I got there, he was able to continue with the field goals. I did all the kickoffs because I was kicking them out of the end zone.
Yeah.
and then my next year, which would have been my junior year, I took over all field goals and kickoffs. And then my senior year, we had a new coach come in, Mike Cavan, and he wasn't very nice to me. He
didn't like dual athletes.
He didn't like dual athletes. He basically told me, you pick. You're not doing both, because they would fly me. I would go to soccer games for SMU on Fridays. Back then, it was always Friday and Sunday soccer games, Saturdays football, obviously. And they would fly me from soccer to football back to soccer, like by myself, just so I could get to all the games. And he's like, no more of that. We're not doing that.
I mean, I guess he felt he had options, because most football coaches know that their job is on the line. If they had a great kicker and nobody that could kick like you, they wouldn't say that to you, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I think, he's trying to build his own culture. I mean, I get that part of it. I think it could have probably been handled.
Yeah, because you only had one more year.
I had one more year, and the agreement obviously was to do both sports. And I mean, I was a first team All-American in soccer. That soccer was my sport, so I wasn't going to give that up. And even though I did well kicking. I mean, I eventually ended up having a couple of tryouts for NFL teams. So I did well at kicking field goals. But unfortunately, I didn't get to kick my senior year. What it did for me, though, is most people don't know this either. I played soccer, was an All-American in soccer, ended up being College Player of the Year my senior year.
1997,
under a football scholarship. Yeah. I played under a football scholarship my whole career.
You still had that football scholarship, and They just let it keep going, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, I guess that's the good thing about the coach not being able to, or not working with you, is at least the scholarship kept going. He didn't pull the scholarship.
Well, yeah, they couldn't at that point. They couldn't pull the scholarship. Things were a little different with the way scholarships work, but at that time, this was literally right before school started, and so my scholarship had already kicked in, so they couldn't just pull it away from me.
So your career, you were first team All-American in college how many times?
3.
And you were in 97, you were what?
College Player of the Year.
I mean, that's of all of college and all of the United States.
Yes, sir.
So obviously you had a great career. Just one final question on the football. I'm just curious, what's the longest field goal you ever made in a game for the Mustangs?
For the Mustangs was 48.
Okay. So
John Tyler, 53.
All right. I mean, that's got to be a record. Maybe not holding up now.
Not a Tyler record. It was a John Tyler record. And then at SMU, that 48 was not the record. I literally kicked field goals one year, so I think I had an attempt of a 56-yard field goal, and it got blocked. So I didn't kick anything over 48.
Well, you certainly made the best with what you had to work with between, that leg and SMU football and soccer, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so good. You're winning all these awards. Is there anticipation for the MLS draft? Is that, you think about football, we all watch it on TV,
Yep.
Guys that were good players, they're talking about he's going to go first round, second round. What was that like for you?
It was exciting. It wasn't as big of a deal back then.
I know.
Like they do the drafts now. I don't even think we were in a room together.
But I mean, you knew.
Yeah. I mean, I assumed, and there was talks again in College Player of the Year. You're thinking top couple of picks.
Surely I'll get drafted.
I didn't get picked till
second round.
I think second pick of the second round. And
how many picks are there in the first round?
I mean, there were only 12 teams.
Okay, so you were the 14th pick.
I believe it's 13th or 14th. Yeah. So, you say it that way, it sounds good.
Right. I mean, it does sound pretty good.
But from my understanding, I had heard that because was thinking about doing NFL tryouts, there was some hesitation on some of the teams of why they didn't pick me. Eventually, I got picked and ended up going to LA Galaxy, and which ended up being a great move for me.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been tempting to try to make an NFL team, although the money for kickers has gotten a lot better in the NFL than it was back then.
Absolutely. I probably would have had less knee surgeries too.
So you have been hurt before in your soccer career?
I've had 11 surgeries throughout my 15-year career. And
have the surgeries primarily been focused on your knees or?
Knees, ankles, hips. Yep, a little bit of everything.
That's what I was saying about earlier when I was saying you were running and the golfers were walking.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that.
Oh, yeah.
People don't hear all that, but that is quite a toll. Does any of that bother you or stay with you today?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure at some point I'll have to have a knee replacement, but I still, even through pain, a lot of swelling in the knees, I still work out just because I have to. But I definitely feel it. I feel it every day.
All right. So you get drafted by the Galaxy, and then, to kind of just compress your career, you played a total of 15 years.
15 years total.
I don't know if you went to Mexico and this is kind of to try to regroup, it was a demotion, or you felt it would be good for your career. I mean, why the decision to go to Mexico for 2 years?
So, one, like I mentioned earlier, that was my dream, always Mexico.
All right, yeah.
That was always my dream. At the time, Mexico was a way better league than Major League Soccer.
Right, that's what the viewers need to understand, is that, Mexico soccer, they were serious about soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
oh, yeah.
And their players had played most of their entire life.
100%.
And they were very competitive. And so,
yes.
And the people treated them like NFL players are treated here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you look at the newspapers over there when I went over there to play, and majority of the pages were soccer. The front page of every paper was soccer.
I guess Bimbo's a sponsor.
That was a big sponsor for our team that year at Necaxa.
Which Necaxa, that team is located where in Mexico? So we can visualize you in Mexico.
Yes, sir. Aguascalientes, which is about an hour from León, central Mexico.
Okay.
And when I got to Necaxa, the team was actually in Mexico City its whole life since early 1900s. They had been in Mexico City. And when I arrived, the team was just moved. It was based in Mexico City. Azteca Stadium is where they played, which is 100,000 seat stadium.
Yeah.
When I arrived, the team moved to a new town, Aguascalientes. New town, new stadium, and then that's where the team was based.
Was it nice when you got there? I mean,
super nice.
Because it was a newer stadium, I imagine.
Newer stadium, small town, one of the safest towns in Mexico at the time. So it's just a great experience. I mean, the environments over there are crazy. Money was way better than Major League Soccer at the time.
Really?
Oh, way better. It wasn't even close.
Because people would be surprised to hear that. They often think about the exchange rate, the peso, and this, and then they go, really? The money was better in Mexico?
Wasn't even close. Then that was one of the main reasons that I decided to move. One, it definitely was a step up, an upgrade in my career, going to a team over there, and a historic team like Necaxa, and obviously getting paid way more than what I was getting paid in Major League Soccer. And so in 2003... 2002, I'll back up. I was in New England Revolution. We went to MLS Cup. 2003, I made the move to Mexico, and
there you are.
Yep.
I mean, you look a lot younger back in the day.
Yeah, I was. That was right? a long time ago.
But the Mexican years is fascinating to me because there's all this dynamic, like you said. They call you Gringo, right? Your name is Hernandez,
right?
Mexican soccer is quite a bit better than the U.S. soccer at the time, right?
At the time, absolutely.
Do you want to go there? Is this to prove something to yourself? That is, I'm going to a place where I know the competition, 1 through 11 is better than where I've been.
Yeah, I think that was a part of it.
And the money.
And the money, obviously, was also a big decision or choice. But I would tell you, probably the biggest part of it, and we see it now, like, what do all the kids want to play? All the kids want to play the sports that they see on SportsCenter, right? They want to see they want to play the sports that they see all these great atmospheres and these filled up sports arenas or sports stadiums. For me, that's what I always viewed and saw in Mexico soccer, because they fill their stadiums, 40,000, 60,000.
They weren't full in the late 1990s in the U.S.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. And over there, they were. It's like, again, you walk down the street in Mexico, everyone knows you.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, everyone knows you. It was that I'm actually a pro athlete feel.
You felt like a pro athlete in Mexico.
100%.
Because I can just see you, my son played on a German professional football team for a season in a very small 40,000 person town. And he said everybody in there knew that he was American and knew that he was on that football team.
Oh, yeah.
Right. The whole town,
Yep.
You didn't have to buy many beers.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and you come back home to Tyler and
then you've got instant street cred.
100%.
I mean, nobody's calling you gringo over here.
Well, that, and they're not saying, oh, you're the guy who used to play for FC Dallas. Oh, they say, you're the guy who used to play for Necaxa or Puebla or Jaguares de Chiapas in Mexico. It's like they name those teams. They don't name Galaxy or Revolution. They're always naming the Mexico teams.
Well, it's a very interesting dynamic, Mexico and the U.S. and the soccer, right? Like you said, a lot of, Hispanics that live here, they've always looked back to Mexico as far as for their sports. Mm-hmm. Soccer and their teams that they loved and followed, and maybe their parents came from somewhere or that was their dad's favorite team or whatever, right?
Right.
But it's funny how you go over there and you come back and now you're more popular with the people that live here than you were when you left.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
because that's what they respected and loved was the teams in Mexico.
Oh, 100%. And so all those families that are here, that they have parents
still there
from Mexico or still there,
right.
They grew up loving the teams that their parents loved, right? No matter what team in Mexico that was. And so now you see all these people that I grew up with loving the teams that their parents loved. So, and then for example, like for me, it was always Club America. And imagine being raised as a Cowboys fan, a Dallas Cowboys fan. That's how I was raised as a Club America fan. For me, I was able to play in Azteca Stadium, 80,000 people with Necaxa against Club America. My dad and my uncles went to the game, and I was able to score against Club America. It's like scoring a touchdown against your own Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, is this the highlight of your entire career?
Highlight of my career.
I mean, I'm talking FC Dallas, everything.
Everything. That right there, and most importantly, because my family was there.
Yeah,
they were able to see it.
I mean,
that meant the world.
That's awesome. I mean, I've got a pilot for a movie working right here.
Let's do it.
We're down there. The crowd's cheering Demetrio, right? I mean, and then you score, and I mean that's wild. And and that would be in Mexico City.
Mexico City.
Mexico City. It's strange that I say this, but it's true. I lived in Mexico City for 5.5 weeks when I was in law school.
Okay.
I took an exchange class because I was always interested in Mexico, because Texas has a relationship where,
for sure.
I mean, all is Hispanics if you've lived here your whole life, especially in the last 25 years. So I went over there. It was interesting. It was the largest place I'd ever seen. I think it was 25 million or something people.
Yeah.
If you know your Mexican history, you know that the eagle soared and landed on a branch in a lake, and they said, well, we're going to build that city right here. And that's in a valley on top of a lake, and that's why there's so much smog. Right? And the smell.
Yep.
Could you smell it back then?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. And with altitude.
Because it's trapped.
Yeah. The smog and the altitude. Yep. Those are two big factors, especially as a soccer player.
But, getting around Mexico when you were there, did you have a car?
Yeah.
Did you drive or did you fly in?
No, I would fly in, and then they would provide you with a car and a place to live and all those sorts of things. So, well taken care of.
I mean, sometimes, that traffic stop in the Mortita, you got to, you got to have a few bucks in your pocket.
I have to tell you a funny story about that. So I bet I wasn't there 2 weeks or maybe a couple weeks after I finally was driving. And I get stopped by the police, and he pulls me over. He comes up to my window. He says, you ran that stop sign back there, right? In Spanish, obviously.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't see a stop sign.
No veo alto.
No. So he says, well, we can handle this here if you want to handle it. He said, you can invite me for a cup of coffee. And again, I said, yeah, sure. Like, I'll take you a cup of coffee. He's like, just let me know when. And he's just sitting there, and he's like, no. He's tapping on my hood, and he says, you have to give me the money for the coffee. And I said, oh. I said, okay. I said, well, I've never done this before.
Quantas cuesta?
How much? And he said, oh, whatever, but usually this amount or this amount. I was like, all right. I think it was like $5.
That's some nice coffee.
Gave him the $5. I think he was going to Starbucks. So gave him the $5, and he went about his way. That was my first experience of the mordida.
Yeah, I mean, I had that one time too. I was actually riding with a girl who lived in Mexico City when I was there, and she was taking me around, and we got stopped.
Yep.
And boy, she wasn't near as friendly as you sounded, though. I mean, she was wearing that dude out.
Oh, I bet.
But she still had to give him $20.
Yeah. Yep. It's true.
All right. Now, how do you make arrangements to leave Mexico and come back to a Major League Soccer team?
Yeah. So I mentioned that I left New England Revolution, went to Mexico for 2 years, 2003 to 2005. My contract was up with Necaxa. New England wanted me back, so I was able to work out a deal to go back to New England Revolution in 2005, the summer of 2005. So 2005, we go back to MLS Cup. 2006, back to MLS Cup again.
You're a starter for this team.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep, the starter. So then after 2006 MLS Cup, we go into the 2007 season. And that summer, I had another offer to go back to Mexico. And so that's when I signed with Puebla for 6 months before I went on to Jaguares de Chiapas down in Tuxtla Gutierrez.
All right. So is that three Mexican
teams.
All right.
Yep.
Did you have a favorite?
Probably Necaxa.
Which was the original team?
The original team, yeah. Only because
you scored a goal in Aztec Stadium. Your dad saw it.
Yeah, and that was so at the time they had the same owners as Club America, so they were kind of like the little brothers of
Who
Club
owns
America.
these teams?
Televisa.
Oh,
huge owners from Televisa, the Mexican TV station, and so. But I will say probably the most success that I had was over at Jaguares de Chiapas. We had a really, really good team, did well in the playoffs. So that was probably the most successful team. But Necaxa was probably my best experience.
I remember watching this 30 for 30, and I cannot remember this player, but they lost, and he got killed,
Oh, Escobar from Colombia.
Yes. I mean, I remember it was a fascinating story but the passion of the people and the love for that team. And then the dark side of a loss was evident from that show. I mean,
when I was in Mexico, I'd never experienced anything myself. But when I was in Mexico, I remember there was a coach for one of the teams we used to play. He was kidnapped by cartel.
What did they want with him? Try to win a few more games.
I guess he wasn't getting the results they wanted.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But for the most part, the players they never, because, it's like the NFL. It's like soccer is their thing over there. So the players never really got hassled with or bothered with by any stuff like that.
But I mean, you usually see that connection when players go out at night, right? Clubs, parties. This is the intersection of potentially, not the best element with the players, right? And people are giving them free stuff, VIP, whatever, was that ever something that they're like, hey, you guys need to watch out or stay away from?
Yeah, no, for sure. Man, there was a famous player that played for Club America that was in a bar 2:00 in the morning, and he got shot in the head by a cartel member. Because he survived, but he got shot by a cartel member.
I mean, that sounds like somebody who's very, arrogant or not concerned about the police at all. I mean, to shoot somebody right like that, like not worrying about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of things happen in Mexico that
you never know what
slipped under the rug.
Right. I mean, but like my dad always said, God rest his soul, nothing good happens after midnight.
That's right. Same thing here. You hear NFL players all the time getting into stuff, or any athlete.
Even in this city.
Yeah.
The worst news on our news in Tyler is young people destroying their lives. And I promise you, every time you hear about it, it's 1:30 in the morning, it's 3 in the morning, it's 2:30 in the morning.
For sure.
Right?
Yep.
I mean,
not worth it.
It's really not in the long term. And, but kids, their brains are not fully formed until they're
well, evidently us as athletes aren't fully formed either. We would like to think so, but it's so frustrating to see some of these pro athletes continue to make mistakes over and over and over.
I know,
because they're up on a pedestal, and they're out in the spotlight, and so one little mistake and their career is gone.
I guess a lot of people in professional sports came from really poor backgrounds or low middle class, right? And then all of a sudden, people are treating you like you're, something special, and that's hard to assimilate. And in soccer, I guess in Mexico, that would have been more of a problem for you there than the U.S. as far as attention and adulation.
Yeah, just because everyone knows you over there. Here you can kind of, as a soccer player, you can kind of hide under the radar.
Yeah.
I guess you can get it in as much trouble here as you can in Mexico, but over there, everybody knows who you are when you walk around.
All right, 15 years. You end your career at FC Dallas. Mm-hmm. Did you receive any awards as a professional from the MLS League?
So made the All-Star team 1 year, was a captain on various teams, Humanitarian of the Year award in 2010. Yep, 2010.
What do you think got you that award? What did you do, or what were you associated with?
Well,
the Christopher Reeve.
The Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation was one of the big ones. I felt like I was just always constantly doing something within the community, whether it was, free community clinics.
FC Dallas try to, promote you to do that? Like, hey, let's get out there in the community. And
they did an amazing job with that. And being, as one of the leaders on the team as a captain, that I was one of the guys that was out there frequently, speaking engagements, whatever it was, constantly doing stuff within the community. So, and I started doing that back at SMU. I used to host a camp at SMU. It was like for these underprivileged kids. I remember we used to have like 500 kids coming out to SMU talking about college and education and so forth, and do a soccer clinic. So just something I always been passionate about, just giving back to your community.
When you think about the Olympic team, when did soccer first play as an Olympic sport? Do you know?
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know the question that either. I mean, it was a long time ago.
Okay. Well, my follow-up was really going to be, were there ever thoughts in your mind, or were you ever even in the running for however many spots were on the U.S. Olympic soccer team at any point during your career?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, I played with all the U.S. national teams up
right.
until the Olympic team time. When I was a sophomore in college, I did get called into the Olympic pool training, whatever we talked about earlier, about the big pool of players that they choose from.
Right.
So I was invited to that. I didn't make the Olympic team at the time. And then fast forward, it was the same situation with the men's national team. So I got called into several games, World Cup qualifiers for 2002 World Cup, which was Germany. So you have to qualify for the World Cup, obviously. And so you have to play all these games to qualify for the World Cup. Well, I was on the bench. I didn't get to play in those games, but I was on the bench for 2 World Cup qualifiers with the men's national team. And then obviously never was fortunate enough to go to a World Cup.
Well, I mean, you've kind of laid it out as we look at your career. There's a lot of good players and a lot of people trying to make, not that many spots, right? I mean, it's hard to make it in soccer.
For sure.
I mean, just imagine all of the Hispanic players that live here, been playing their whole life, and you're competing against that, right?
Yeah.
Across the country for limited
yeah.
These are born and bred soccer players, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. And that's probably the one goal that I probably, will probably never stop thinking about is I never got to step on the field to represent the U.S., the men's national team, whether it was a World Cup or just in a game, even though I was on the bench, but it just, it's not the same. But it's also a huge accomplishment. I know it was, I was blessed to play 15 years professionally, be on the U.S. team basically my whole life. So I do understand that it was a great accomplishment, but, there's still a little piece missing there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in football wants to win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. Well, so talking about that, I went to 4 MLS Cups and lost every one of them.
Yeah, okay. On 4 different teams, but, for Dallas, FC Dallas, in 2010, you were on the team that they made it to the Cup. Right?
That's right.
And for sports fans listening, that's like the Super Bowl in soccer.
For sure.
You guys played who? Colorado?
Colorado.
And what was the score of that game?
2-1 in overtime.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 2-1. And we played in Toronto. So back then, all the MLS Cups, they were neutral sites.
No.
And we played in Toronto. And imagine in December, it was snowing when we woke up that morning for MLS Cup. Here we are playing a championship game and it's snowing in Toronto. So I guess Colorado was kind of used to playing in the snow. We'll blame it on that.
Yeah, y'all were warm weather players.
Yeah, for sure.
As we kind of get out of your career and move on to other things in your life, I want to circle back to your time at SMU because, you were fortunate and people will recognize this. You got to play with your younger brother.
I did.
Right? I mean,
I did.
When you were at SMU, were you number 2?
I was number 2.
Nico, your brother, was what number?
Number 10.
All right. And so did y'all start and were y'all on the field together at any point in time?
Yeah, we were. He came in as a freshman, and he started as a freshman.
So he was good.
Oh, yeah, he was good. He started as a freshman. And when I was there, around that time, SMU soccer they were always top 3 in the nation. Always. And I know for 3 of those years that I played at SMU, we were always top 3. Lots of times top 1, number 1.
Now, the only SMU alumni soccer player I think I can recall is Clark Hunt.
Yeah.
Did he play before you, I guess?
Yeah, he was way before me. And I'm great friends with Clark and Dan Hunt. Dan quit soccer when he got to SMU. Dan is around my age, but Clark is a lot older than me. But from my understanding, he was a great soccer player. He was the captain of the team at SMU. Obviously, his dad, great dad, Lamar.
Right.
Obviously, huge
impact on sports,
on soccer, and specifically in soccer, but all sports,
right.
But specifically in soccer, and probably a huge part of why Major League Soccer exists today.
Yeah. I just, I think that would be probably one of the most exciting experiences of your life is to get to play with your younger brother in a competitive environment in a sport that you love.
So and I don't know if you can attest to this, but me and my brother growing up, because we were so close in age, we fought all the time.
Yeah.
Competitive.
I was so much bigger than my brother. He
Yeah.
didn't grow until his sophomore year. And so he might be 5 foot and I might be 5'10". You know,
Well, it was the same thing with my brother. My brother was short, but he didn't care.
Yeah.
He still was trying to fight all the time.
Yeah.
And we just were so, we'd be out there playing basketball, soccer.
I know.
It didn't matter. We were fighting all the time. And so I remember when he came to SMU, and we still kind of bumped heads even when we were at SMU, but it was, I always felt honored and just proud to have him on the field with me. He was my backup kicker on the football team. Believe it or not. Yeah, he was my backup kicker on the football team.
Did he have a football scholarship too?
No, he was on soccer scholarship. Yeah, he was on soccer scholarship. And I know you might mention this in a little bit, but before my brother's accident that we can talk about. So the last game that my brother ever played soccer was in the Mexican League at Caldwell Park. I was on break. I had just finished my first year as a professional soccer player in LA. I was in town for off season and I'm watching the game and my brother's playing Mexican League. And there's a huge fight out there at Caldwell Park between the two teams. And so we're running out there. I'm trying to protect my brother. That was the last time that he played a soccer game. And I was out there protecting him. And then I think 2 days later, he had his car accident.
So he must have played when he was home for that break before he went back to SMU.
Yeah, so it was around exam time, final exam time. And so he was in town for the weekend because when we were at SMU, we would always drive to Tyler on the weekend just to play Mexican League.
But I mean, nowadays, a lot of coaches would say, look, guys, y'all don't need to be playing in the Mexican League.
Probably shouldn't have.
I mean, because those guys are working as grown men.
Yeah.
And, they may cheap shot you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean,
100%.
They may be jealous of you. I mean, you're putting yourself at risk here, Daniel.
We did. We did.
Well, unfortunately and tragically, Nico was in a car accident on his way back to SMU, and he ended up paralyzed from the waist down. I think we've got a picture of you and him. And that's when you were with FC Dallas, and I'm assuming he came up, and I don't know if he was, allowed to, be on the sideline with the team. I'm assuming he probably was. Yeah.
So that year or that specific game, he was named honorary captain.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say, well, they probably made him honorary captain.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite picture ever. You see my social media, that's my profile picture. I have a big picture of this right here in my office. It just, I don't know. It just means a lot to me, because I almost felt like I kind of was playing for both of us throughout my career.
After he was hurt?
After he was hurt, because he definitely would have been a professional soccer player for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and you would know. So that's got to be disappointing for you, for him, to have to, especially for Nico, to kind of say, well, what could have been, and have to, just pick up the pieces. But, I know you stay in touch with him and talk to him. And
well, I mentioned, we fought a lot growing up, but I'll tell you this. I remember the night that he was in the hospital, and I, man, it's tough to talk about. I sometimes get choked up, but, I told him that night, I was like, man, I'm sorry,
I know.
For all the bumping of the heads, because we just never know, things can change like that.
Blink of an eye.
In a blink of an eye. And it did for him. His best friend, unfortunately, didn't make it out of that wreck. And but what I told him, I was like, man, I'm sorry, I love you, and I'm going to continue to play, for both of us. Man, we've been best friends ever since that happened. Unfortunately, that happened, and we became super, super tight.
Well, I know he's got to be proud of you. I mean, how many professional soccer players from Tyler have we had? Have we had any?
I think I'm the only one. We have a Longview guy, Francisco Torres, that also played in Mexico, played with the U.S. team, and then Clint Dempsey. I think those are the only East Texas guys that I can think of off the top of my head. Yep.
Do you think it's just access to, the club soccer that is, Dallas, they have more players, more facilities, more training, more coaching, right? It's like you said, you got to have parents to drive you up there from here.
Yeah, it's a huge sacrifice for everyone involved. Back then, again, like I mentioned, it was an easy decision because all we had here was rec soccer. And as great of a coach my dad was, he even just kind of swallowed his pride and said, I basically have taken you as far as I can. I need to get you with a club team with these coaches that can do more than what I can for you. And it opened the door for more opportunities for me and obviously pushed me to play at a higher level.
You retire in 2012.
Correct.
And then you find yourself, I guess, out of soccer completely.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you had to start thinking about, how do I make a living the rest of my life? Had you thought about that before, or did it start because you were kind of unexpectedly out of soccer?
Correct. That's the perfect word that you can use, because I thought I had 2 more years left on my contract. So I thought I was going to play 2 more years. So I figured, probably like every athlete, I have 2 more years to prepare for after soccer. You never are prepared for after sports. Never. And unfortunately for me, I had no idea what I was going to do after soccer.
What about a degree? Had you gotten it from SMU, or did you have to circle back?
Yeah, I circled back because I left, because the way Major League Soccer is they have their draft in January. And so I left a semester early from SMU. So between my transfer from Creighton to SMU and then leaving a semester early, I had about 1 full year, 2 semesters left to graduate. But I knew 100% when I finished playing soccer, I was going to go back and get my degree. And SMU degree was super important to me. At the time, SMU didn't do online courses. So I tried to do them while I played, but they didn't allow it. So after I retired, I went back to SMU on campus at 36 years old, and I took courses for 2 semesters and graduated in December of 2013.
Had either of your parents graduated from college?
No.
Had anybody in your extended family ever graduated from college?
My oldest sister had graduated and became a nurse.
All right. And that's probably because of the sacrifice and the influence of your parents?
Correct. 100%. And Nico, after his car wreck, he ended up, I think he went back to SMU for 1 semester, and then he finished his degree at Texas College while he was here in Tyler, just so that he could finish his degree. But he finished his degree.
And you had... What, you had a sister, you had Nico, how many other kids did?
So I have a younger sister, Sarah. She graduated. She actually was on a full scholarship at SFA for soccer. She graduated from SFA. She's a teacher. She's at Tyler Legacy now. And she's been the assistant women's soccer coach there under Chris Woodard, probably for 20 years.
Chris Woodard. Shout out to Chris Woodard.
Yeah, old Woodard.
Golly, I've known that guy for so long.
Really?
Man, he was playing soccer when I was at Lee.
Yeah.
And then he's been the women's coach ever since they had a program.
Yep. And my sister's been his assistant ever since she left college. It's funny, Woodard and a couple of his Tyler Lee teammates, they would come over and play in the Mexican League with my uncle's team.
Wait, which guys? I know them. Okay.
Drew Denman.
Drew Denman.
Denman, yep.
Brian Fitzgerald. Trace Adams.
Yep.
Rich Narr.
Let's see, who else was that?
Denman was probably one of the better ones.
He was one of the better ones. I want to even say maybe Mark Wheeler.
Mark Wheeler's one of them. Yeah,
yeah.
He's one of their buddies.
So all those guys, I was probably, I don't remember how old, but 10, 12 when I used to watch those guys play in the Mexican League.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Mexican League is where Tyler Mexican League. That's where I used to look up to all those guys playing soccer.
I had an ex-brother-in-law. His name was Doug Wiebe, and he played in that Mexican league.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought, man, why are you doing this? And he was a grown man. It wasn't like he was in college.
Yeah.
He was like, older.
It's a dangerous league out there, but you learn a lot and, from experience. And I mean, me and my brother, we probably started playing there when we were 14, 15 years old.
the foundation, Christopher Reeve, most people remember him as Superman.
Yep.
He was paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of attention brought to, that medical issue. And somehow you got connected, I guess, early in your soccer career with that foundation.
Correct. So when I played for New York Metro Stars, the Christopher Reeve Foundation is based in New Jersey. And so they somehow connected us with the foundation, knew my brother's story, and I became the national celebrity ambassador for them. This was 2001, and kind of have followed through with them as a national ambassador. When I retired from soccer in 2012, I kind of took a couple years off from doing anything with them, but we kind of rebuilt that partnership, and now we're back working with them again.
Like, what types of things do they call on you to do as a part of your role there?
Mostly awareness for that community, the paralysis community. A big part of it is because, it allows me to also work with my brother and with his experience and with paralysis, more about bringing awareness a lot in the Hispanic community, bringing awareness to all the resources that they actually have.
That people can apply for.
Absolutely.
That,
or that the foundation provides, And so what we do with that is I've been doing a Christmas soccer clinic probably since 2010. Not consistently here in Tyler, but usually in Dallas or Tyler. And we had our biggest one last December. We had over 400 kids there. And
that was at Tyler High?
At Tyler High. Yep.
I saw you. This is what made me think about you.
Okay.
Honestly. I saw you in that piece on Channel 7, and I thought, Daniel Hernandez, pro soccer player, I need to ask that guy to come on the show.
Yes, sir.
And, but yeah, I saw that, and it looked like, those kids, obviously it's easier to aspire to something if you can see somebody who's already done it.
100%.
And say, well, this guy's from Tyler.
Yeah.
He grew up in my neighborhood. And if he made it, then that means it's not impossible, right? And that's part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I started playing rec soccer here for Tyler Soccer Association at 5 years old. I used to be down the road from my house at the park.
What's the name of that park right there?
PT Cole Park.
I was going to say PT Cole.
Yep.
They have fixed that thing up. It's nice as it can be.
Yeah. Yep.
Shout out to Don Warren, the mayor.
He
made parks a priority and caught a lot of political heat for it. But
it used to be not a safe place down there.
Right. It looks scary.
It is. And now you see kids out there playing all the time.
All the time.
Yep.
I mean, my wife and I drove by there weekend before last, and I was shocked at how many people were at that park.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's so good because, a lot of people don't have the money. They don't have this to be able to have experiences, where you can do something that's positive and not negative. That's a great thing.
That's exactly right. If you don't have facilities like that, places that these kids can go and have fun and be kids, they end up doing stuff that they're not supposed to do, negative things like you mentioned.
And that's all kids. I mean, that's me when I was growing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You zeroed in on life insurance at some point, which has become your career, has it not? I mean,
that's right.
You're now Daniel Hernandez Insurance, and there's your first, in a business suit. I'm out there.
That's right. Yeah, it all happened by coincidence. I never imagined being in this industry. I had policies as a professional soccer player with New York Life.
Okay, so that's where your first experience was. Is they're like, hey, Daniel, we got a policy on you in case you get hurt.
Yes.
Or get killed.
Exactly. And what ended up happening is because of my knee, I essentially technically was retired because of my injuries. I had a disability waiver premium rider on my policy. New York Life, when I retired from soccer, New York Life took over those premiums for me as a rider.
When you say waiver, that meant if you got hurt, you didn't have to pay the premiums, but the policy would still stay in effect.
100%.
Right.
And so because I was injured in my career, whatever career I was doing at the time, New York Life took over those premiums. So I saw all the benefits in my policy, aside from the building up tax-free cash value. And so after I graduated from SMU in 2013, I kept getting approached by New York Life. I was like, I'm not interested.
Like, who would approach you? Just people that go, hey, this guy would be great. he's Hispanic. He's well known in the soccer market. It's kind of like, he would fit a good niche.
Yeah, I mean, that sounded like the phone call that I had from the home.
Well, I mean, I've been told I'm good, Daniel.
So that's how it all started. And then they got me in to have a conversation. And I honestly, even after I graduated from SMU, I had no clue what I wanted to do. No clue.
That's every kid. And, I'm so fortunate. My dad has passed away, but he was a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And, just that example with nothing else is, well, I respect my dad. I'll just try to be a lawyer, right? I mean,
yeah.
And you and not everybody has that, right?
Right.
That you want to go from manual labor to thinking labor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, that's what most people want to do.
No, exactly. But I knew that after soccer that I've been getting paid for 15 years.
You weren't going to be doing anything manual.
Now I had to go give me a real job, And so at the time, unfortunately for me, I was going through a divorce at the same time, 3 daughters. With the flexibility of this business, I knew I never wanted to miss anything of my daughters. And so I was like, well, let me try it. I need to do something to start making some money. I know I need to be there for my daughters. And so as I started working the business, I'm like, you know what? I love helping people, love protecting people's lives. And I don't have to miss anything of my daughter.
It's super flexible to be a life insurance salesman.
Super flexible. And so that's what I started doing. And a lot of that focus also was because I saw the experience of what I had in my policy. I was like, man, I want to be able to provide this service to all pro athletes just so they can understand how beneficial this is to them. So a lot of my clients are pro athletes, high net worth business owners. That's kind of my bread and butter and who I service. About a year into the business with New York Life, I partnered with them and then started my own life insurance company, Hernandez Life Insurance Solutions. And then that was a stepping stone into the other part of my business, which is structured settlements.
Well, let's break that down. Hernandez Life Insurance Solutions is the name of the website.
That's correct.
And so, anybody who's watching this show, if they wanted to get in touch with you, that's how they would get in touch through the website.
HernandezLIS.com.
What about, obviously Spanish speakers, Spanish readers that, find you to be a credible person who would understand their needs from your family background? Would they be able to communicate on your website or with whoever they talk to?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, we mentioned that, being able to kind of build that trust in the Hispanic community, speaking Spanish, obviously, explaining the benefits of essentially protecting their biggest asset. And their biggest asset is not their car or their house, it's themselves.
That's right. I was going to say that.
Yeah, it's themselves. And then also a big part of what I do is also teaching high net worth clients how to become their own bank by creating their own family bank through, whole life properly structured whole life insurance policies. So that's kind of what I do. And again, for the Hispanic community, unfortunately in our culture, there's not a lot of life insurance being bought on the family members.
Well, were you going to use this as an opportunity to shine a light on that and maybe change that? Because what you said is what I was thinking. If I think about, and I don't want to stereotype anybody, but if I think about, Hispanic men traditionally have done all the hard jobs. And if you just walk around the city and watch any construction project and your eyes are open, it's hard to miss.
Yeah.
Those are also the most dangerous jobs. And oftentimes they have a wife, multiple kids.
Right.
And as you say, if something were to happen to them, you can't necessarily count on there to be a lawsuit, right? It could be workers' comp in a comp bar, or there could be barriers to, and life insurance policies are almost like guaranteed. Like you paid the premium, if you get killed, we're going to pay you.
Yeah, I mean, you can't put a value on someone's life, right?
Right. I mean, but you have to pick.
But yeah, but at the end of the day,
let's go $1 million. No.
But at the end of the day, it's like, man, you have to be able to care for your spouse and your kids that much that if something was to ever happen, that's our only guarantee in life is that at some point we're going to meet our maker.
For sure.
We just don't know when.
That's right.
We don't know when. And so to be able to invest into an insurance policy that no matter what, if anything ever, God forbid, happens to you, your family's going to be taken care of. They already deal with enough grief in dealing with all of losing a loved one. Why have to deal with the financial struggle as well,
Yeah, I mean, and policies can be a lot cheaper than people realize.
For sure.
And give them coverage that could really help people out if something bad happened.
Yeah, and we make jokes about it all the time that people will insure their iPhones. You can get an insurance policy that's on your life for what you pay for insurance on an iPhone. It's possible.
You mentioned another component, and I think this is something that everybody should listen to because I have this conversation with people and I sometimes can't talk them into it, and that is the structured settlement, right?
Yes, sir.
In my business as a personal injury lawyer, when I get settlements, depending on if they're large enough, I turn to my client and say, hey, you can structure some of this. And they go, what does that mean? And I says, well, before we touch it, I can have it sent to an annuity, essentially.
Right.
And that will go pre-tax and sit there and work for you. And they can run numbers to show you, hey, I want to get paid every 6 months. I want to get paid every month, right?
That's right.
And it can really, with the interest rates where they are now as opposed to 6 years ago, these are beneficial things for people, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's like you mentioned, it's a once in a lifetime. Look, they've already suffered through injury, maybe a wrongful death. They've suffered enough. And so the last thing you want to do, or what you want to do, is honor the person, the loved one that you lost, where this settlement money came from. And it's like, don't take all the cash and in 2 years you're broke.
Right. And
what we try to do is preserve that money, protect it, and make it last as long as possible. And then, like you mentioned, the biggest benefit is a once in a lifetime opportunity for it to be tax free. And so now, obviously, we know minors have to do it most of the time, by the courts, required by the courts. But with adults, it's kind of hit or miss. It's 50-50. Sometimes they're like, no, I want my cash.
Some lawyers don't tell their clients about this vehicle and they don't know about it. And that's what I'm getting at here is like, I don't care if you're not using me and you watch this and you got a settlement and you heard this with me and Daniel. Remember the phrase structured settlement.
Exactly.
Ask your lawyer about it.
Yep. At least listen to those options and listen to the benefits of it.
We haven't really honored your father and your mother like I want to. What was your father and mother's name?
Demetrio Hernandez and Jimmy Hernandez. Jimmy Laverne Duffy Hernandez. I have to get it right. So, my mom is from, her family is from Simpsonville, Texas, over by Gilmer and Pittsburgh. So that's where she grew up. My dad from Mexico. And unfortunately for us, may her soul rest in peace. My mom passed away in October of last year from cancer. So
yeah, it's tough. I mean,
time.
My dad died November of 2024. When you get older, obviously the season of your parents passing away, gets on you, right? I mean, you don't know when, but you're going to be going to a funeral, God willing, if you're still alive.
Right.
And, I mean, I don't look forward to it, but you kind of rise to the occasion. I don't know if you spoke at your mother's funeral.
I did.
But I spoke at my dad's.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that, really don't want to do, but you just kind of got to push forward with it. And I try to make it funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, laughing keeps you from crying.
That's right. That's right. And I think I tried to do that as much as possible. It really made me feel good because I think just last week, somebody came up to me and said, man, I heard you speak at your mom's funeral, man.
I've had that too.
Man, you did amazing. And man, you had me laughing, and I loved that. And it made me feel good. And it's funny, part of my speech, my mom used to always she would always say, she's like, well, we did the best that we could.
Yeah.
If we're like joking about our childhood or whatever.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
My mom was horrible sometimes. She goes, we did the best. I did the best I could, like,
yeah,
well, that's a real consolation.
Yeah. So, and of course, I'm sure you can attest to this, the favorite child had to get up and speak. So that's what I did for my mom.
Well, I don't know. My brother and I both spoke,
Okay. All right.
And we're two different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And, he eulogized my dad in a more serious way than I did. But that's really our personalities,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to get up here and be all serious.
Well, and I think for my siblings, it was too tough.
Right.
It was too hard for them. And not that it was easy for me, but I'm kind of used to speaking, in front of audiences. This was going to be tough for me. I will say, this was the first time that I actually had to read off of notes. Normally, I memorize my speeches.
Freestyle.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I had to read it. So funny story about part of my speech and kind of the whole process of my mom going through cancer. So she was diagnosed with cancer last June. She lasted until October. So we mentioned Clark Hunt earlier. Well, I'm good friends with Clark. My mom, she was a huge, huge Patrick Mahomes fan.
I mean, look.
Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Man, look, man, my son was in his wedding. I mean, I raised Patrick. Not really, but he stayed with us all the time. So, okay, we're super Chief fans here.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, so you're going to love this story.
Everybody loves Patrick Mahomes now. Come on.
So, my mom doesn't really, she doesn't watch NFL football like that, but when Patrick Mahomes started playing, big Chief, she did not miss a game on Sundays, right, to watch the Chiefs.
Yeah.
If you called him Pat, she would correct you. It's Patrick, right? And so when she got diagnosed with cancer, we knew it was not going to be good for her. We didn't know how long we had with her. So I called up my friend Clark, and he's such a nice guy, so willing to help. He ends up sending a video of him and Patrick Mahomes basically letting my mom know they're thinking about her. Good old East Texas lady from Tyler, Texas, that they're praying for her. And so I surprised her in front of my whole family and showed her the video. She was just like, what is this? And so we explained it. She obviously knew, but she couldn't believe it. So she was like, man, I can't believe he did that. And so that night, I spent the night at my mom's. She woke up early in the morning and I was already up. She came in there. When she got diagnosed with cancer, she didn't cry. She was like, well, how long do I have? She came in that next morning after the video and she just started crying. And I felt bad. Like maybe she had a bad night. And I said, Mom, are you okay? And she said, I just can't believe Patrick sent me that video. She said, I can't believe it.
Well, if you knew him like I do, then you wouldn't be surprised at all.
I'm not.
I mean, we might be 13, 14, Golden Road. I coached, we played Little League all the way from 10, 11, all the way up. And, the worst kid on the team, he'd be the nicest too. That's just how he was,
I believe it. I believe it.
We all knew he was going to be good at something. We weren't sure it was going to be football, but it towards the end of high school, it was looking like it was going to end up pretty good, and it did.
Yeah.
And just like your mom, I never missed a Texas Tech football game when he was there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hispanic community. Your mom, you said earlier, was white. That caused you any trouble? Was it, were people accepting? I mean, what's the culture on that?
Yeah, it was, I was a little more fair-skinned.
Yeah.
I wasn't like dark-skinned like my dad. My dad's, super dark. And
that's true for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. And
right?
We got, I would say, I know me personally, get some slack, here and there, like, oh, you're a white boy, and and it's,
young kids are just mean.
It just, it was times, for the most part, it wasn't that bad, but I definitely heard that every once in a while. But again, that's all what we were around. It was Mexican League soccer on the weekends, Mexican weddings, quinceañeras. My family lived in the neighborhood.
I mean, you paid your dues, man.
I paid my dues, man.
You went to the Mexican League, man.
That's right.
I mean,
That's
get a guy
what
a
else I had
break.
to do, So, but it wasn't bad. But yeah, I definitely saw and heard some things over the years when I was little, for sure.
Well, things have turned out pretty well for you, it seems, and I really appreciate getting to know you today, because obviously I didn't know you. Mundo made the introduction. I'm sure I'm glad he did.
Absolutely.
I wanted to talk to you. You're an impressive person. You're one of our, Tyler, East Texas, gems, man, somebody who's done something that everybody else or many people have tried and just hadn't done. And I just want to thank you for being on the show, and I hope the best for you, as your life goes on.
Well, I appreciate it. And, nothing more gratifying than to come back to my hometown and be able to speak to another Tyler, Texas, friend, hopefully now friend. And
for sure,
it was great meeting you. And again, just I love coming back home and just trying to service my community, whether it's through business or through community work that I do. And just I'm a hometown guy, so I love coming back.
Well, just hit me up when you come back.
I will.
All right.
Yeah.